Time for our Friday morning panel discussion with Goodwill Columbus. I'm Victor Johnson. I'm a career facilitator with Goodwill Columbus, and I want to remind you that we are here for your career and career advancement needs. We have resources to help you with every aspect of employment and career advancement. And during this presentation, if you would like to contact us, I will be rolling our contact information at the bottom of the screen. But let's get to our conversation this morning because we're talking about self-care during a pandemic. And joining me this morning, I have two people who are well-versed in stress management and have done research about what's going on in people during this COVID pandemic and things that we can do to reduce our stress levels. So I'd like to introduce Carly and Marty.
Hello.
So if you two would just, if you would please introduce yourselves and just say a little bit about what you do at Goodwill Columbus.
Great, I'll go first. As Victor said, my name is Carly Baird. I'm a career facilitator with Goodwill Columbus Workforce Development. And what I do is I teach workshops and work one-on-one with individuals, specifically our at-risk youth population, to support them in advancing themselves in their future careers. And one of the areas that I enjoy talking about is self-management, stress management, and personal development, being able to use our minds and our own abilities to respond to situations to maximize success, maximize enjoyment of life, because sometimes we forget that our mind has a lot of power and it can very easily be misused. So that's one of the areas that I enjoy talking about. So I'm very happy to be here for our session today. Thanks, Victor.
Thank you. And Marty.
Yes, good morning. I'm a career consultant with Goodwill, and also I complete career assessments and career resumes. So I'm a credentialed resume writer, and also I really work towards an individual being successful in whatever they choose in a career. And sometimes it takes quite a while to find their pathway because some people just want to change their careers. And once they have been able to talk about it, complete some career assessments, and go into more detail, maybe have a long-term and short-term goal plan, that it can really help them to further their career and maybe change their career and do something that they passionately wanted to do their entire life. Maybe it's returning to college, maybe it's getting their GED, but whatever it is, as a career consultant, we are here to really focus on that individual and have them overcome any barriers they have and challenges and have success in their life.
That's wonderful. Both of you gave me a great segue into running our banner about how you can contact us to receive this help, individualized help from our career consultants. So, and this time, it's so weird for this period of history. And I'd like Marty to talk a little bit about, the changes that we're seeing because of the pandemic.
Yes. Well, change is really difficult. And I think that everyone in the world has had to adapt to change, especially when we're homebound, we're either laid off, we're working from home. So I just kind of put together some steps of what we can do to really eliminate our stress a little bit in life, and to kind of reiterate how we can stay stress-free, because it is a stress world today. And not even to think that what we see on the news, what's going on in the world, and how that can impact us on a daily basis too. So I would say the first step is just staying on a schedule. If you're working from home, stay on the same schedule that you had when you were at work. If you're laid off, start investing in yourself. Complete some career assessments, free trainings online, update your resume, review your current job. Are you ready to make a career change? Staying engaged. Talking to at least 5 people daily, whether it's Zoom, phone calls, talking to neighbors, keeping your distance. And also, very important, be aware of your mental and physical state. Do a wellness check daily. It's kind of like a body scan, just kind of check your physical and your mental state. Your hygiene is very important. Meditating, walking, exercising, reading, praying, talking to your family doctor or professional counselor if needed. Eat healthy, because they say whatever you eat is who you are. So veggies are important, fruits, plenty of water, right? Okay. And then the last tip is just having some problem sleeping, which we all do, right? So I always say, create your space, a safe haven in your bedroom. Kind of rearrange your room around, get rid of all the clutter. At the end of the day, make this that room that you can feel comfortable in, you're relaxed, you can unwind, look at your room temperature, have a dark room, and leave all your worries behind. Journal at least an hour before you go to bed, and leave all those worries behind before you go to bed, okay? And avoid caffeinated drinks after 6. Avoid alcohol if all possible before you go to bed. Deep breathing, relaxation techniques, meditation. There's a lot of phone apps, and also on the internet, there's apps of relaxation techniques. Avoid eating heavy meals at least 3 hours before bedtime. And if you're having problems sleeping, just get up and do something relaxing, and then try to go back to bed again. So that's kind of the tips that I put together this morning before this interview.
Okay. So Carly, would you like to add to that?
Yeah, I would love to. Thank you. So, Marty talked about change and how, I'm getting just a little bit of feedback, so I'm just waiting, about how there's a lot of change going on during this time, but there's also a lot of uncertainty and a lot of the unknown. And just a little tip that I personally learned, as Marty's talking about, investing some time in personal development and growing yourself and learning. A workshop that I took recently, I was reminded that we talk about the fear of the unknown, but really, what is the unknown? The unknown is a space where new things can occur. The unknown could be an exciting space where, wow, something new and exciting could occur. But what we do is we put our past fears and worries of the future into the unknown. So what we're doing is we're filling the unknown with all of our fears, when really we could be excited about the unknown. So that's just a little tip to change your mindset around uncertainty that might be supportive. Because sometimes, the reality is that that the way we're perceiving things, there's no hard and fast truth about what's going on around us. We're perceiving the truth. And so if we can change our mindset in the way that we're looking at things such that it's empowering us rather than disempowering us, why not do that, right? Why not assume the best? And look at uncertainty as an opportunity rather than putting all the fears of the past or the worries of the future in that space, in that gift. So,
Wow, that is really powerful. Thinking about the opportunities that can arise out of this situation. That is really that's a really great mindset to have. Wow, thank you for that, both of you. So Carly, how might stress manifest itself in a person? What kind of reactions might the body show?
Great question. So it's likely going to show up in our behaviors, like overeating, like behaviors that are unhealthy, overeating, lack of exercise, lack of motivation. It's going to show up in our sleep patterns. Sometimes it's harder to sleep, or it's easier to sleep and we want to sleep all day. The stress might show up like that. Stress might show up as, it could show up as high blood pressure. It could show up as weight gain. Could show up as a lot of different things in the body. But also, like I said, our behaviors. There's a lot of things that it might show up as.
Great, thank you. And okay, I know it shows up as behaviors, but Marty, I'd like to ask you: is it possible for this, for stress to just sneak up on a person that you're not really aware? I mean, what are the ways that might happen?
Oh, absolutely. Opening mail, financial problems, any type of triggers in your life. If you have PTSD, if you have an overload at work, communication with friends and family, even coworkers. Those are just some of the things that can sneak up on you in a heartbeat and really escalate those behaviors, those negative behaviors. But if we're aware and we do that body scan every day, we can put into place something that can help us to calm ourselves on a daily basis.
That is a great tip. I like how you said that too, that a body scan.
Yeah. From head to toe. Yeah, great way to keep a check on ourselves. Yeah.
So I've got questions on the other board. That's why I keep turning my head, everybody. So Carly, what kind of things can you do to deal with the stress that you're feeling?
Great question. Well, one of the things that I like to remind people is remember that stress is inevitable. Stress is a physiological reaction in the body responding to our environment that goes back to our early roots where we needed to fight or flee. And so keep in mind that, and the environment, right? We're surrounded by unknown, and humans like to have certainty and knowing. So it makes sense that stress is going to be inevitable and stress is going to happen. So first, maybe accept the fact that you're stressed. That could be, a first step, because what we resist persists. If I resist and make wrong the fact that I'm stressed, now I'm just adding stress to my plate. So accept, I'm a little stressed right now, and that's okay. And that's okay. I'm a human being. I'm feeling stress in response to my environment. Okay, let me accept that. An easy thing that we forget about oftentimes is breathing. Our breath is what, makes us alive, right? Our breath, and it's, we forget about it and it becomes so automatic that, if we just tune in and pay attention to our breath, like Marty was talking about a body scan, you can just pay attention and watch your breath, and just really pay attention for a couple minutes of inhaling and exhaling and just watching and paying attention to your breath all the way in and all the way out. There's also a breath exercise that I like to suggest to people where you inhale for 4 seconds, you hold your breath for 7 seconds, and then you exhale for 8 seconds. And if you do that a few times, it really puts your focus on your breath. And there's some science behind, I'm not going to say the science correctly, but there's something to the fact where we are slowing our exhale, and it literally calms down our nervous system. And so it's the 4-7-8 breathing technique that you can try by inhaling for 4, holding your breath for 7, and exhaling for 8. And if what I suggest to people is do that 8 times, and suddenly you feel differently. So breathing is really an important thing to keep in mind. But what other things can you do? Marty mentioned some great things. I mean, just eating, sleeping, exercise, meditation, those things that we hear about all the time, that we forget how important they are. And I also like to remind people to have a sleep schedule. if at all possible. I've gone through times where I have a go to bed alarm because sometimes I stay up later than yeah, right. Yeah, we get going on something, and if I set my get ready for bed alarm at 9:30 or whatever, then I'm and then I go to sleep alarm at 10:30 and get myself on a routine with my sleep. Go to bed at the same time, wake up at the same time, and that can really support our body being in the best shape, because really, taking care of your body allows your body to be in the best shape to respond to stress, because again, it's going to happen. So take care of your body so that you can respond in the best way possible.
Wow, that's great advice. My goodness. So Marty, okay, so we've talked about ways that you can reduce your reactions, with things like your body scan and breathing and things like that. But are there things we can do to reduce the causes of stress in our life?
Well, first we have to figure out what those causes are. Okay. One thing I can suggest is, if you have a good friend or somebody that is a confidant to you that will just listen to you, talking to people is enormously wonderful in bringing down your stress level, because you're in a way venting. But if you see somebody that that is in this stress level, ask if they'd like to talk. Listen to that person. Just listen. Don't give advice, just listen. And sometimes through that conversation that you have with an individual, it can help bring down that stress level. Maybe at the end, that person might say, gee, this sounds very, I think that maybe you might need to talk to your family doctor or to a counselor, a professional counselor, to maybe there are other things going on that are a little more difficult for an individual to handle, and that a professional needs to step in. Yeah. But I think having somebody to talk to is really important. Somebody that'll just listen to you. I think that's an important step.
That's really great. Go ahead, Carly, please.
Marty brings up a great point. Is really talking to someone who's just gonna listen and allow you to just vent. And we can ask for that. Sometimes we forget that we can ask for what we want in our communication. So I do this all the time. I call up a friend and say, hey, I need space to just vent. Will you hold that space for me? And make a request about what you're looking for. Because we as helpful humans want to solve problems unless we're primed to do something different. So keep that in mind, that you can ask for what you want. And Marty's spot on about find out what the source of the stress is, and ask yourself, can I do something about this or can I not? And separate the things that you can do something from and the things that you can't. And if you can't do anything about it, do your best to let it go, to let it slide. Yes. And because sometimes we get all worked up about things that we can't do anything about, we're adding to our stress level.
Yes.
Wow. Great advice. And actually, you both answered my last question, which was, what would you say to a person who says that they're overwhelmed and stressed out? And you just gave perfect answers. Talk to a friend, get somebody to let you have a space to vent. And then, Marty, you said if there may be situations when you need to speak to someone a professional about, what you're going through. And there are resources that are available. It's not always about money, everybody. There are resources available to help you if you are having, real mental problems with stress and during this time of the pandemic.
Yes.
And one of the things you said, Carly, about controlling things, one of the things I've done is I only watch the news once a week,
Uh-huh.
and only for a half hour, because, in our day of the 24-hour news cycle, it can be overwhelming. And so to relax myself, I want to keep up with what's going on in the world, but I don't want to be overwhelmed by it and dwell on it all the time. So that's one of the things I do to reduce stress in my life. So please tell me. So tell me, Carly, you start, and then Marty, I'll go to you. But Carly, what do you do? Name some of the things you do personally.
Yeah, some of the things that I do are remembering to breathe, for sure. Meditating. There's many apps out there that you can use to calm your mind, to not even calm your mind, but allow your thoughts to pass through. Really, that's the thing that people get caught up on meditating. I can't meditate because I can't get my thoughts to stop. Well, you're not actually trying to get your thoughts to stop. You're just trying to not be attached to them. So I like to use the example that when you're meditating, you imagine thoughts come through your mind and pass through like a cloud. And so here's the thought, it pops up, it passes through the sky, and then I release it. And then I'm looking at a blue sky again. And so another one pops up, and just watch it pass by. And I don't need to be attached to it. So that's what I like to do. I walk every day. I make sure that I get my 10,000 steps in every day, even if it's putting a rain jacket on and walking in the rain. I'm committed to my health and my routine. And it's crazy how I was talking to a friend yesterday. I might not feel the physical effects of walking every day, but I sure feel proud of myself for following through on my commitment. So having that routine and following through on your routines is really important in creating that consistency. And I also like to remind myself not to take things personally. People do weird things all the time, and it's really easy to think, you know what, that person is out to get me, or, oh, they're like, I can't believe they're doing it again. If you look for the evidence for someone is out to get you, you're going to find it. And if you instead remind yourself to not take things personally, that's what I like to do, is to remind myself that, it's not about me. I like to think, I wonder what that person's going through, that they are reacting in such a way, and really practice my empathy muscle when I'm interacting with other people, because we're all experiencing wild times right now. So have a little grace and understanding for other people, and not make it my job to fix or control people or things like that, and kind of worry again, come back to worry about the things that I can control and let go of the things that I can't. Do something about what I can and let go of what I can't. What else do I do? Yeah, trying to eat well. It's easier said than done. I've got a sweet tooth, so that's my thing. I'll be honest. And having no shame about seeing a professional. We have such a thing in our society that there's something wrong with me if I go to see a mental health professional. But I was thinking, what if we looked at it like any other professional? How many professionals do you use in your life? Tax professionals, right? Accounting professionals, medical professionals. Yep. We use professionals all the time. And mental health is just another area of our life that everyone experiences challenges in. And so I personally see a therapist, and I'm grateful for it. And I have no shame whatsoever. So keeping up on things like that, even if nothing's going on, it's all about maintenance, right? Let me try to take care of myself so that when extra stressors come in, that I'm set up and I've got gas in the tank to support myself. So.
Excellent.
I love your metaphors.
Great. That's really great. Really great. So Marty, what do you do in your life personally?
Well, this epidemic really changed my life because I am very much a people person. My world, working especially, is being face to face with individuals. And so this was a big change for me, and I've adjusted. Isolation was probably the hardest thing for me to do, but I've done pretty well. Thank God for virtual. I'm on the phone a lot with customers, but I also am walking more. I try to take 2 breaks a day. It doesn't always work, but by about 3 o'clock is gone, I've got to take a walk. And sometimes when I get up first thing in the morning, I have to take a walk first thing too. I've started biking again, which can be an individual or with other people. So I'm kind of excited about that I'm getting back in that routine again. And just really, like Carly said, trying to eat better. I think it's been beneficial for me to be home. I'm a diabetic, type 2, but I still have to maintain and watch the food that I eat. So it's been easier for me to buy healthy food here at home and know that I can just go around the corner and grab something healthy rather than being at work with a box of donuts that are sitting in front of me, right? So there's been some good things that have worked out of working from home and being isolated. I'm talking more to my neighbors because I was never at home. I was always at work or out, volunteering or doing something. So now my neighbors actually are getting to know me, which they never have in the last 4 years. So there's a lot of good things that have come out of this, but also, kind of just being there for my family more because we're all isolated. My oldest son lives near New York City, across the river in Jersey, and they still have a lot of isolation that they're doing. So every county, every state is handling this differently, but the main thing is working on yourself. And I think as long as we do everything that Carly and I both said, I think that we're going to come out ahead of this if we keep our health and we do the things we need to do every day and do that check every day. And so I feel good. I feel healthy that I'm able to continue. I really miss being on that one-on-one, but it's working out okay at this point in time.
That's wonderful.
Yes.
I really like what you said about your neighbors.
Yes.
I think that's one of the great things that we can do. I mean, we're supposed to socially distance, and we can feel like we're in silos and really isolated. And that's probably the most important time to reach out. We still have the telephone. We still have social distancing where you can walk outside and talk to your neighbor from a distance, but you can still talk to people. You can still reach out to people through email, through phone, through text. And I think it's really important that we continue to reach out, because if you get into that silo mentality that you're all alone, then I think that stress will build up even more because you have no release for it. You don't have anyone to talk to about it. And sometimes one of the best things to help you with how you're feeling is to talk to another human being.
Yes.
And it doesn't even have to be about something bad or, anything particular about COVID. Just talking to someone about, I'll be glad when we can play baseball again is something that, just can help you deal with the situation a little bit more. So I would like to thank Carly and Marty for a really, really great talk this morning. I think this has probably been one of the most helpful and informative talks for me that we've had on our Friday morning. And a really big thanks to both of you for being here this morning.
Thank you.
Thanks for having us.
I've enjoyed it.
Great. Okay, well, that's we're at the end of our time. So thank you both. Thank you everyone out there for watching. If you're watching this on the replay, remember you can stop and you can rewind and hear some of this great advice and really make it your own, because there was some really great advice given here today about what you do during this pandemic to keep yourself under control and not overwhelmed with the environment that we're living in right now. So thank you both, and thank you all out in the audience. And once again, if you're looking for assistance with your resume, with your job search, with interviewing skills, across the bottom, we've been scrolling our email address and our phone number, and you can get assistance one-on-one and get the help that you need to advance in a career or change a career. So thank you very much, and we will see you soon. Bye-bye.
Bye now.
Right.